G'day guys, we are in the Maldives to discover the spectacular underwater world. Welcome back to Patrick Davis Adventure, a channel devoted to travel, getting out and about and feeling inspired, and staying curious. Come with us to explore this world of turquoise, disconnect with a hint of luxury, and dive into the mind-blowing underwater. Subscribe for ongoing adventures. Let's get into it.
Being a nation of islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean, it's not an honest shoestring budget type of destination. We'll be experiencing the Maldives in two different ways. We'll be staying at an overwater bungalow for 2 nights, as well as doing an island hopper tour. I'm most looking forward to keeping an eye out for whale sharks, swimming with nurse sharks, scuba diving, making a few new mates, and hanging out with some of the locals. I'll take you for a quick walkthrough of our villa.
If you're anything like us, you might keep bumping the Maldives down your list of must-see travel destinations because of its reputation for catering to high-end jet setters, honeymooners, and celebrities. As we discovered with a bit of research, there are more options to enjoy the islands. We figured we had come this far and wanted the classic over-the-water bungalow experience. Can go all out with private seaplane access to some of the world's most exclusive resorts. Lara got us onto the Hard Rock Cafe Resort, a 20-minute speedboat ride from Malé International Airport. And for us, it was unbelievable. I spent most of my time searching for sea life with a drone, a taste for things to come. After a few nights of luxury, we joined up with our island hopping group we'd be with for the next week.
We're on the island of Fulidu. We're here for the next 3 nights. What I'm most excited for this entire trip is the possibility of seeing whale sharks. And that's our plan today, to go on the search for the world's biggest fish. These giants of tropical waters across the world can reach up to 18 meters. My experiences looking for whale sharks have always been a bit hit and miss. I tried to see them in Mozambique, I tried to see them in Mexico, but I was lucky enough about 5 years ago to swim with them in the Ningaloo Reef in northwest Australia. There's only one area where they remain resident for 365 days a year, and that is the Ari Atoll here in the Maldives. We'll be heading out nice and early this morning. It's currently 6:30 a.m. We're gonna have some breakfast and hit the water. It's interesting to see all of the track marks of the birds, and there's some broken eggshells too. The Maldives is made up of a couple of 1,000 islands. A few hundred of those are inhabited, and Maldives, from a tourism point of view, seems to get most of its attention for the high-scale resorts. But as we're already seeing, it is possible to visit these quieter, more traditional villages. We were awoken by the muezzin singing the call to prayer at about 4:45 this morning. The Maldives being a predominantly Islamic country, and here on the smaller islands, they don't serve alcohol in any of the restaurants or the bars. Last night at our welcome dinner, meeting our fellow travellers, it was toasting with a glass of water, glass of Coke. The fishermen are using a traditional fishing rod, but without a reel. So they're just letting the line dangle loose in the water. Wow, look at this crane. Heaps of them. See you, mate.
When you're in paradise, you want to drink it in from all angles, and I love the dreamy perspective drones give by the coast. Watching these fishermen flicking their lines from paddleboards reminded me of that proverb about the fisherman and the businessman. It's something about wealth lying in knowing contentment and being happy in the moment. Okay, on a day like today, it feels a bit like cheating. It certainly wasn't hard to have a smile on the face, buoyed by the optimism of a lovely group of people and fun times ahead. We covered a lot of water, and a few of us, including the crew, sent drones up to look for silhouettes and shadows and broaden our search for the whale sharks.
Play the music.
Love the bow of the boat, this. Well, we've had a great morning so far on the lookout for whale sharks, but we haven't had the ultimate success just yet. We just had a snorkel and then we pulled up at this sand island. We've had some lunch, but fingers crossed as we make our way back to our island this afternoon that we'll have some success. Before this storm rolls in too much, we're going to shoot the drone up in the air, get a different perspective of the island.
Wasted money on cures, forgot how to fix myself. They say that time is free, then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out.
So glad we got to have the sun.
I know, hello.
Time is running out. Lately I've lost my track. I've sailed the deeper seas, hoping to find something to bring back better times. Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind.
We'd had a brilliant day, capped off by a good feed and listening to some local musos. The fishermen had done well too, and our day finished where it started, down by the jetty. As the catch was cleaned, it drew in a shiver of sharks. We'd be seeing their mates tomorrow.
Good morning everyone and welcome to another beautiful day in the Maldives. Well, we had a sensational day yesterday on the search for whale sharks. Disappointingly, unfortunately, we weren't able to spot any of the beautiful big fish. It was still a really lovely day, cruising up and down, getting to know our fellow travelers and on the lookout for other wildlife. We were lucky enough to see some dolphins that were playing at the bow of the boat. We stopped for a snorkel and saw some gorgeous tropical fish. So a great day in all. We also had a nice dinner out and about last night. Beautiful fish curry. Today our wildlife interactions are a bit more on the guaranteed side. So we're heading out to a spot where there are some resident nurse sharks.
So I know some people asked the other day, and I've been asked before.
These beauties are nurse sharks. But fear not, the small mouths on their lower jaws are better suited to bottom feeding on crustaceans rather than showing any interest in swimmers. Really, they're big puppy dogs. But you know, don't poke the bear, or shark in this case. And we were well instructed on giving the sharks their space and not touching. When you're in the water, you really get a perspective of how large these animals are, and it was a privilege to share their space. Things then got a bit Pirates of the Caribbean as we explored this wreck with exquisite visibility. After a full day in the water, we were surprised and impressed by all the effort that went into this unique dinner setup. Nothing like a crackling bonfire, and no one even had to be voted out.
G'day, good morning. Welcome to another day on the island of Fulidu. Yesterday was a really special day and we had some time swimming with the nurse shark. We saw a few black-tip reef sharks. We also ventured out to an Indonesian fishing boat that was scuttled a couple of decades ago and created an artificial reef. And now's this fantastic place for snorkeling and free diving. Unless I'm scuba diving, I feel that I just dolly around on the surface, and when snorkeling I can't get down very far. I wasn't able to duck dive and I can't hold my breath. So the night before last I was watching some YouTube videos, some tutorials about the best way to duck dive. I was able to improve so much yesterday, so I was really happy with that. Special night last night. The crew set up a private picnic, a dinner on the other side of the island. We had a lovely dinner celebrating the birthday of one of the guests, Jimmy, the big 3-0. There was a bonfire going and Some people even stayed in tents last night. The day has started with gorgeous sunshine once again. Some great plans as always. We're venturing off on the search for manta rays and dolphins. And then later on, first scuba dive in the Maldives. Let's go see some manta rays.
Yes, excited.
Nice morning snorkeling, no manta rays, but we were able to swim around with the hawksbill turtle for a bit, and that was a real highlight of the morning. There are some people doing a discovery dive, so an introductory dive, trying scuba for the first time. Going through some skills at the moment, and for the certified divers, we're going to get set up and head on out soon.
With year-round warm temperatures and nutrient-rich water, the Maldives is one of the world's top diving destinations. At certain times of the year, the currents bring in the plankton. That draws the mantas and the whale sharks. Colourful reef fish and various turtle and ray species can be seen year-round. There is a vast network of liveaboard opportunities for experienced divers, and the clear visibility and abundant life make it the perfect place to give it a go. Stick around to the end of the video to share one of the most memorable dives I've ever had. A peaceful place to watch the sunset on another exciting day.
That's amazing.
Just before leaving Fulidu Island, we've come down for one last chance to see the stingrays, and we're so lucky. A turtle came in to check us out. There is a black tip reef shark about 5 meters from us now, and we're all alone. We've got it all to ourselves. How special is that?
So special.
There's another
Amazing.
shark.
Oh yeah.
No, there's heaps of them.
There's 3, 4.
There's 100.
Today turned it on from the start. Our trip was ripping along, and we were heading to Mafushi Island, marking more or less halfway through our island hopper. But we couldn't have asked for a better seeing off party. And then it got even better. As we motored to Mafushi, the crew spotted the black-tipped points of a manta ray's diamond-shaped fins, and we were treated to this graceful and elegant performance. Definitely a magic moment. Hey, thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the video, please take a second to subscribe, comment and like. We're new to YouTube and need your help to grow and keep sharing. Up next, we're off on the search for dragons in Komodo and we'd love to have you along. The hypnotic and balletic moves can put you in a bit of a trance, but it's not long until the lungs and the legs can't keep up. The mantas make it look easy. If you want to swim with mantas and turtles and think you'd enjoy the blend of adventure, comfort and like-minded travellers, head on over to our friends at Indy Escapes. As well as their popular Maldives Island Hopper, Indy Escapes offers gorilla trekking in Uganda, safaris in Kenya, Sri Lanka surf trips, Bali retreats, and a whole lot more. Visit indyescapes.com and use the discount code Paddy's Adventures to save $50 US and lock in your next life-changing journey. With over 140 5-star reviews on Google, you're in excellent hands. Check them out.
They're like a 4-year-old birthday party. Everyone loves it. And yeah, we're going to head out towards the
I better catch something now, because
I know.
video.
The old fish whisperer over here.
Fishing man.
If you can catch me a fish, I'll give you a $5.
100 kilo fish.
Look at this. Yeah, give it a Rexy.
I'll get one of you.
Yeah, you're on. Oh! Pull it in. Look at that, last cast of the night. Well done. Oh. Good morning guys, we're on the island of Mafushi. We went out for a Twilight fish last night. It was really great, we did pretty well. Lara and I not so much, but in the last half an hour we were each able to catch one fish. So to contribute to the haul, for dinner last night there were some tables set up down on the beach and some local staff cooked up all the fish that we'd caught with some rice and some salad. So it was lovely. Today I'm heading out for a scuba dive while the rest of the crew head to a resort for a bit of a Maldives resort experience. First dive site for today is a place called Shark Reef. Hoping to see things like black tip and white tip reef sharks. Very rarely they also see bulls and tigers here. Absolute dream to swim with tigers.
Your madness, it's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the riding away, but I just love to play and you're fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom. Oh, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Won't you pandemonium? Life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Won't you pandemonium?
There was so much life here, and as we rose up through the depths from the wreck, the shallows were flooded with sunlight, showing off a full spectrum of colours in the corals, clownfish and turtles. I'll never tire of seeing and swimming with turtles. I love them.
Just having an afternoon wander through the streets of Mafushi off the main touristic strip, which is only a couple of streets parallel from here. It's a lovely guest house and it's located directly next to the Mafushi prison. One side of the island is people riding banana boats and parasailing with jetpacks, and here the Maldives Correctional Centre. Looks like it's very recent, from 1998. It says their mission is to instill in inmates the sense of distinguishing between right and wrong while providing academic and vocational training, to reform inmates before being released with a resolve to avoid crime in order to prevent recidivism. I learned today there's a new dive site that's emerged over the last couple of years in the Maldives. It's not far from the capital. It's called the Shark Tank. During COVID, the fishermen, which is a huge industry here in the Maldives of a certain area, were dumping their fish waste, fish guts and offcuts, and it started to attract spinner sharks and then later bull sharks, tigers, hammerheads, different types of reef shark. Fishermen were noticing that the reef fish were no longer turning up, but there was an abundance of sharks. Word got out to the divers, and now it's become an attraction for people who enjoy life under the sea. So if that's your thing and time allows, I've seen some of the photos, and particularly with the interactions of the tiger sharks, it looks really impressive. My dives this morning, first dive, the current was challenging. We weren't able to see as much as I think they'd planned, but still a couple of reef sharks cruising around. But the second dive was one of those dives, which reminds me why this is a really special way to experience the world, to see it from a different perspective. The colours were amazing. I felt like I was swimming through a documentary, lots of Nemo fish and even a small turtle at the end. Our time in the Maldives is really whistling along. We started our trip with a few nights on an overwater bungalow to have that experience, which was peaceful, which was exceptionally scenic and relaxing. It was indulgent, certainly a bucket list type of experience. And then we've had our organised tour. I'd highly recommend this experience to anyone visiting the Maldives. So their target market is young professionals aged 25 to 40, but it's ever evolving. Group's really relaxed, funny, great attitude, sort of just up for a good time. We'll speak to anyone. There's no exclusivity, experienced travellers, people who are very open-minded. So I've really appreciated the atmosphere on board. On the beachfront of Mafushi, there's lots of touts selling water sports, scuba diving, night fishing, whale trip excursions, heaps of restaurants. But only one or two streets back, like a lot of these places, you see the more, I don't want to say traditional style of life, but the locals. You see the locals and where they live. I'm just in front of a football stadium here, wandered past the school, pharmacies, a hospital. There's a community centre next to the football ground, and there's quotes in the local language Maldivian, which is similar to a Sri Lankan language, Sinhala, but also translated in English. There is no good in extravagance and no extravagance in good deeds. Silence itself an answer to foolish ignorance. Lying is a disease and truthfulness is a cure. Activeness is a blessing. Who supports you in doing evil has wronged you. I watched something before coming here that surprised me. At 100% of the native Maldivians who live here and those who want to move to the Maldives are required to be Muslim. The Maldives has been an Islamic nation since 1153. Prior to this, it was a Buddhist nation, but due to the importance of its location in the middle of the Indian Ocean, this Maldivian archipelago is an important place for the Arab traders. I wouldn't do it justice, so you'll just have to come here and hear it for yourself. But last night at dinner, while we were eating the fish that we had caught, one of the locals told us the story, the legend of Ranamari. Once a month on the full moon, would demand that a young woman was delivered to him and would be sacrificed. There's a story of how in 1185, Ranamari was tricked or manipulated into disappearing or being killed or some type of compromise, some type of shady deal, and the country was converted to Islam.
It's like a tournament, right?
Yeah.
I won it 3 times in a row.
Wow, what position do you play?
Striker.
Striker.
He's shooting here.
He's good? You speak English very well.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I always like learn it from TikTok. It's really easy.
Really? That's so good. I'm so impressed. But what language do you speak at home?
Divehi.
Divehi.
It's our national language.
Divehi.
Yeah.
How do you say hello, how are you?
Like we say hello, like
You say hello like normal, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, we say shukriya.
Eshukuria.
Yeah.
International.
I'm from the...
USA.
No.
Can you give me Turkey?
We're guessing which
Turkey.
country I'm from. Not Turkey? Finland, no?
Netherlands?
No. I mean,
France. France.
no.
France.
Not from Europe?
France.
No.
Okay, give me
Brazil.
hint.
No.
Australia.
Yes! Australia! So this must be the central mosque. You say mosque? Yeah. And this is the muezzin, the call to prayer? Yeah, prayer time. Just had a lovely chat to some people there. There was a woman with some kids of the community. Just pointing out the ATM here. Here in the Maldives, they have their own currency. The 1,000 note is a whale shark, but there's also fish, there's fishermen on the note. It's a plastic note, it's very pretty. I'll share some of the photos. So on our side of the island is what the travellers and the locals call the Bikini Beach. This woman now, without preaching or any agendas, she just said it's haram in Islam, so it's not permitted. It makes her uncomfortable. She understands that there are different cultures, but of course we are here in the Maldives, so we choose to be here, so best that we adapt.
After a big day in the water, it was sunset and then to bed, as I had an early start.
Morning guys, I'm back today at Mafushi Dive. 2 scuba dives yesterday, reef sharks, Nemo fish, great interaction with the little hawksbill turtle. So heading out again today for some more exploring.
Final day, and plans were kept free and loose, so you could choose to revel in some relaxation, some beach time in a hammock, some water sports, massages. I was keen to spend as much time as possible in the water, which for me turned out to be a good call, with a few thirsts and one of my best ever dives.
But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Somebody say, don't be afraid of loving yourself, 'cause that is all you got.
On this second dive, we descended into strong current, gripping onto a rocky ledge with all our might to watch a school of eagle rays. One of the highlights of the trip.
She leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself, cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own. Wondering if it is forever.
And on the way to the surface, we checked out a few sharks and a timid turtle getting worked over at a cleaning station.
And that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Yeah, that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself, cause I don't know what I want. Yeah, I'm here talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself, cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own.
Thanks for joining us here in the Maldives. If you enjoy this style of content, go and check out some of our other videos. We would 100% recommend a trip like this. We're already planning on coming back. Don't forget to visit Indy Escapes, there's a link in the description. Up next, we're off to Indonesia to dive with mantas and look for Komodo dragons. We'll see you there. Cheers.